Are there any students here to speak out this evening? Yes, I just have one announcement. This week you can donate meal swipes to House Covered, and you can get it up to free. And if you're going home this weekend, there's a lot of good opportunities for you guys to spread the love. So yeah, that's all. Are there any other students here to speak out? Seeing none, we'll move on to announcements. Are there any announcements this evening? Anybody? Seeing none, moving on. So we have presentations of active minds. Oh yes, okay, yellow. Let's welcome active minds.
Hi guys, so I'm Lindy Clinton. I'm president of Active Minds here on campus with Active Minds. So Active Minds, we're here to end the stigma around mental health and suicide. So we are an advocacy group speaking out, striking down the stigma surrounding mental health and suicide on OU's campus. It's a national program, so we also meet every Wednesday from 6 to 7 in Bentley 306. So some of the statistics that we have, so I'm going to scoot over here. So suicide is the second leading cause of death, just in general, not even just on college campuses. About 280 people decide not going through suicide, but attempts are very, they have a bigger number. 67% of the college students first tell a friend that they're feeling suicidal before telling anybody else. A lot of that has to do with the stigma surrounding, like, they don't want to bring shame to their family. 1 in 5 adults have a diagnosable mental illness, and 50% of us all will experience some kind of mental health condition in our lifetime, whether it be us personally or if it's a friend or a family person, or just your colleague sitting right next to you. About 39% of students in college will experience a mental health issue. 50% of the cases of mental health issues begin by the age of 14, and 75% begin around the age 24. So these are like your disorders such as like schizophrenia or bipolar disorder. 2/3 of students with anxiety or depression, though, do not seek treatment. And a lot of that has to do with the stigma surrounding suicide and mental health. So if you are struggling or you know someone who is struggling, there is help here on campus. So the resources that we have here are the Hudson Health Center, which if you don't know where that's at, if you know where Jeff Hill is at, it's like in that little area back there where the Glidden Hall is and everything. Drop-in hours are on Monday through Friday from 8:45 to 3:15 p.m. Office hours, so like if you can't make it during drop-in hours, you can go there from 8 to 5 and just at least schedule an appointment for maybe the next day. There's also a counselor in residence. It's called Let's Talk at the Living Learning Community. It's from 5 to 10 from Sunday through Friday. They're just there within the dorms in case like you can't make it to drop-in hours during Hudson hours. There's also the Survivor Advocacy Program, which is in Lindley Hall, room 038. But there's also a 24/7 hotline, which the number is right up there. There's also the National Suicide Prevention hotline, and there's the number there. And then also if like your friend or yourself or your family doesn't feel comfortable talking on the phone, there is a text line, and you just have to text BRAVE to that number right there. So if a friend or family member comes to you, it's okay to ask them questions. It's okay to ask them the hard questions even, such as like if someone's like, I just can't get out of bed. I'm not making it to my classes. I don't feel like there's any point to this life. It's okay to ask them, hey, do you feel like you're going to kill yourself? Or do you feel like ending your life today? Or have you talked about, or listened about going to seeing a therapist? Also actively listen to what they're saying. A lot of people feel shut out because of the judgment. And there's also, again, the stigma surrounding mental health and things like that. Be direct. Don't beat around the bush. Like I said, like if they're feeling this way, you want to get to know why they're feeling that way, rather than the next day you find out that you no longer have your friend. And then also help them go find support. If they don't feel like talking to a counselor or a therapist, then, give them these other types of places to go. So there's the suicide hotline number up there. And then NAMI is actually a National Alliance Mental Illness program. And they work all over the U.S. They put on different classes and walks, and I'll get to that shortly. And then the Trevor Project, I believe, is for transgender individuals who feel like they're feeling suicidal or have these mental health conditions as well. So when needing to disclose your own mental health issues to others, you're the expert on your own mental health. So I can't, just expect you to be like, hey, why don't you know that I'm sad? You have to verbally tell them like, hey, I'm not, I'm just not feeling this certain way that I'm supposed to be. But don't feel pressured like you have to do it, and don't criticize your friends who come to you later and you're like, well, why didn't you come talk to me first, because mental health is your own course, and sometimes it's super fast and sometimes it's really slow. Be prepared that they may not know what to say. If you come to your friend and you're like, I am feeling suicidal, your friend may be like, I don't know what to do with that, and I'm sorry. I'm here for you, but I don't know if I can potentially help you with that. And then also be prepared for the positives and the possible negatives. So even if you give them a whole bunch of positive things to work with and work on, their sky might be colored gray. And so they may not see, that, oh, there can be a positive thing that comes out of this. So the steps to, getting to this is the process talk, get them talking. And then give them concrete examples. Maybe you can use your own background to help them get to the next step that they need to be at. And then ways that they can help as well. So some of the past events that we have put on for Active Minds was last year. I don't know if you all remember or not, but we had a rally that was on Fort Street, not us personally, but it was called It's On Us. We marched with them for the sexual assault that was happening here on campus. And we made a poster collectively at the meeting, and hopefully we made somewhat of a difference. So we also last year and this year have painted rocks with positive messages around the campus and just placed them in a variety of different places. Then there's also World Kindness Day in November, where we will like bake goods and like write nice little messages and things like that and just hand them out. Also the walks, like I mentioned before, the Nami Walk. So this is a walk held by the National Alliance of Mental Illness. Basically, you meet up at the Court Street court office, and the walk is free. You get a free t-shirt and a lot of free food. There's a lot. It's really fantastic. But it's really neat because there is not just the student body, but also the community that gets involved with this. And it really brings awareness to, passerbys like driving in the car or walking by, because then they're like, oh, what is this? And it's like, oh, yeah, we're here for standing up for mental health. And then recently, I'm sure as most of you saw last week, there was Send Silence Packing. So for more than a decade, Send Silence Packing exhibit has traveled the country to end silence that surrounds mental health and suicide. We were able to get a really huge donation for this, which was fantastic. And it focuses on the prevention and includes the stories of those who we have lost to suicide. It's really impactful because a lot of people don't like to talk about it or see it, but then, when you're just walking to class on College Green and you see all these book bags, you're like, oh, what the heck is this? And then you go up and you're like, wow, I didn't realize that this was such a huge impact on everybody. And most likely, every one of us has experienced our own feelings of suicide, or has had a friend, a family member, a peer, a teacher, someone who has felt suicidal or has had some kind of mental health issue in the past. One other event that we host, this won't be until the spring semester, so stick with us. This is Ending the Stigma Through the Arts, so we have like a whole bunch of artists come by with their paintings and drawings and things like that. We have some poetry. We also have several music groups that come in that sing songs just about anything from being happy to super sad to I think one group last year sang about nature. I'm not really sure. But it's a really cool way to just, talk about mental health, but in a lighter setting. So some future events that are going on. So first, to start out, you can always get connected with us on Bobcat Connect. It's a good time, no more Gmail. So tell your roommates, tell your friends' friends. And again, our meetings are 6 p.m. every Wednesday in Bentley 306. But you're already here, you already know that. We are also hosting a candlelight vigil on October 22nd at 6 p.m. We may or may not need volunteers for that. There are definitely going to be snacks though. And basically we put this on every year as just a way of celebrating those who are still with us today. And also, remembering those that we have lost. And then also the Mental Health Walk with NAMI. And then the NEDA Walk, which is the National Eating Disorders Association. We will also be partaking in this. I think there's a huge ceremony that starts at the Nelson Commons at 10 a.m. on the 19th. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So the cool thing about Active Minds, since we are a national organization, is you can get an internship. This internship is every semester at DC, and here's the website that you can apply on. They offer a cross-departmental internship and graphic design internship, which is, I think, really neat. These are also our social media platforms that we use, so go follow us. We post a lot of messages about the meetings and uplifting posts as well. All right, well, thank you, and let's end stigma around mental health and suicide.
Does everyone get a copy of the slide deck?
I can send it to them. Well, try to send it to them.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes. So what are some ways that we can improve mental health awareness and like awareness of the resources on campus?
That's a really good question. So I have, but Active Minds has several ideas for this. One main important point is potentially putting a crisis line on the back of our IDs. So we have like the tap ride and, other numbers that we can call, but like, who do we call when we're in a crisis, So like, okay, you have to go on the internet and you have to go type it in, go figure it out. What if your internet isn't working? When really you could just pull out your card and there it is. Another thing is we really focus on alcohol education here on campus, but we don't really focus a whole lot on mental health education. So every, freshman has to take the alcohol EDU and all those things, but where's the mental health? Because a lot of kids either A, don't know how to get their help, where to get it, and if we teach them, here's what you can do, here's where you can go, that may even lead to less, suicides on campus and less mental health issues. Letting them know that the whole university is here for them and they're not alone. Another thing, which I had seen something, I think, in the works last year about this, but I'm not 100% sure. But I have seen a lot of athletes struggling with mental health. There's this stigma around where you can't go get help because, that makes you less, competitive as your next teammate. So that needs, I think, to be, further researched upon. Yes.
We actually have a full-time therapist that's in now for student athletes.
Okay, awesome. Maybe that's what I read last year. But
Yeah, we have 2 therapists actually in HCOM for the doctoral development.
Okay, all right, well, cool. Okay, then never mind.
We don't never mind.
All right. Also, the last thing I think we could also do is every program, I think, has a learning community. And I think every program maybe should introduce at least like one of those classes or one of those time periods where like we focus on mindfulness and also talk about mental health. Because I'm in business over here and a psychology learning community over here, the psychology department should not be the only learning community that learns about mindfulness and mental health. Everybody should learn about it because we all experience it in some way in our lives.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So how do you collaborate with CPS? I know you collaborate on different programs and events, but do they ever come into your meetings to talk about certain things or any projects?
So we're working with them. Our advisor works in CPS, and so he collaborates with them a lot. I don't want to say for us, but kind of for us a little bit. And they will, like, if we need like a counselor on site for a certain event, we can always contact them and they will find somebody, whether it's like 1 to 3 people, to come sit. So like such as Send Silence Packing last week, we had an on-site counselor the entire time. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, please send your slides over to Jamie.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much.
I'll let you.
Okay, so technically the next presentation is technically my presentation, but I talked to Josh, we figured out the problem of why no one can see the documents. It's because that I can change the permission on the folder, but it just shows the folder. You have to go to each individual document and they get public view. So we're currently working on that. We have every single bill and resolution that has passed since 2015. So please bear with us. And it'll probably be another 2 weeks before everything, like all the archives are available. But we're hopefully going to start the most recent documents of this past year and also, of course, the government documents. So if there's a particular document resolution that you do need, please reach out to Janie Alicia, Jana, or myself, and we can get that for you. So that's all I really have. You can move on. Well, she was staff, please call roll.
President Ramla.
Present.
Vice President Ivy Moore. Treasurer McAdams.
Present.
Commissioner Gill. Senator Chambers.
Present.
Senator Rochelle. Senator Ulla F. Indy. Senator Archibald. Senator Stevenson.
Present.
Senator Boer. Senator Klein. Present. Senator Eberlein. Senator Moore. Senator Arts. Commissioner Gibson. Senator Gordon. Senator Fenton.
Present.
Senator Quay.
Present.
Commissioner Shria. Commissioner Kramer. Commissioner Osjohn. Senator Akeem. Senator Warcamp.
Present.
Senator Warren. Commissioner Newman.
Proxy.
Senator Steele. Commissioner Zimmerman.
Present.
Senator Adams.
Present.
Senator Thomas. Senator Galili. Commissioner Bosinger.
Present.
Senator Klein. Senator Schmidt. Commissioner Conrad Sweeney. Senator Fink.
Present.
Senator Shea.
Present.
Senator Busiak. Senator Freitag. Senator Vanetta.
Present.
Senator Sweeney.
Present.
Senator Tortel. Commissioner Holkett. Senator Graffis.
Present.
Senator Tiger.
Present.
Senator Massimo.
Proxy.
Senator Sweeney. Senator Boothby.
Present.
Senator Ensworth. Commissioner Ramlo. Senator Ivins. Senator Miller.
Present.
Senator Chess.
Proxy.
Commissioner McCarthy. Senator Whetstone. Senator Danlow.
Present.
Clerk Ringer. We have quorum.
There are no deficiencies on this evening. Oh gosh, is there any discussion on the previous meeting minutes? All those in favor of approving the previous meeting minutes, please raise your hand. All those opposed, abstentions, was that opposition? For sure. Okay, those are approved. Moving on. No old business. Okay, on to new business. First up, we have Senate Resolution 1920-30, a resolution to appoint members to the Leadership Development Committee. Whereas, primary sponsored by President Nami Walk.
So according to the rules and procedures, I'm chair of the Leadership Development Committee, and on week 6, I have to appoint members to the committee. So Michaela, Maxine, Adam, and Maddie all expressed interest in being on this committee, and
Secretary Sponsor, Chief of Staff Peterson.
I echo everything Vice President Lenny Moore said.
Is there any discussion on this resolution? All those in favor of approving Senate Resolution 1920-30, please raise your hand. All those opposed, abstentions, resolution passes. Okay, next up, Senate Resolution 1920-31, a resolution to update Chapter 3 of the Rules and Procedures over executive staff. Whereas this primary sponsored Vice President Libby Morse.
yeah, so I met with the Chief Justice, and we talked about editing Chapter 3, which is over the executive staff. The past 2 years, the judicial panel has been editing all of the commission's chapters, but they have not edited the staff. So all of the changes that are in here are already the way that we operate. And I didn't really make any changes other than the organizational liaison, which we have rolled into another position. And we created the social media director because that's a relevant position that we need in today's world. And I was just
Secretary Sponsor, Chief of Staff Peterson.
Yeah, so I echo everything Vice President Morse. We also just changed the intern with Matt GBS that they go to, and then 4 days on his not position. So I was down.
Is there any discussion of this resolution? Second. Can I, option to this friendly amendment or? What is the third? Oh, sorry, not to do that. Clerk Court Ranger. I have the option that someone can motion to friendly amend, so it says Senate resolution, not just resolution.
Motion to friendly amend, the title to the Senate Resolution 2031.
Okay, this is to vote on the adding the friendly amendment to the resolution. All those in favor of the friendly amendment, please raise your hand. All those opposed, abstentions, friendly amendment added. Okay, I'm gonna move the second to vote of friendly amendment on resolution 1920-31. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, abstentions, resolution passes. Next, we have Senate Resolution 1920-32, a resolution to purchase supplies for office. Whereas the so proxy for Chair Advo.
Upon reviewing of the budget application, the committee reports that it has met all criteria outlined for approval.
Sir Bowser? Yes. Okay, and our second sponsor is not here this evening. Is there any discussion on this budget? Okay, it's been moved and seconded to vote on Senate Resolution 1920-32. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, abstention, resolution, one abstention voted, resolution passes. Are there any commissioners who have reports this evening? Commissioner Kramer.
Tonight, me and off campus and Alicia and some other people are just hanging out in the office met to discuss questions for the debates. It will be a mayoral debate and a city council debate. It will be on October 17th at 6 p.m. starts the mayoral debate. And it will not be in here this time. I can't remember what room off the top of my head, but I'll put it in the Slack. But if you have any more suggestions to still send them to me ASAP so we can get the Dr. Bernier who's going to moderate by Monday. But I just want to make sure everyone has the opportunity to hear what they want to hear at the debate. So thank you all. Thank you all there. That's it.
Any other commissioners who have reports this evening? Seeing none, move on. Any Senate committee reports this evening? Yes. Commissioner Wexler.
So the director of the Community Service Committee met yesterday, and we discussed community service stuff, including homecoming, which is coming up. So I have events, so just to fill you guys in on. We're painting the banner for homecoming Tuesday at 8. We have Yell Like Hell at 6 on Thursday, and we already have some volunteers for that. It'd be awesome if anyone could stop by. And for homecoming, we have the homecoming parade on the 12th at 9 a.m. and we want as many people as we can get there. So please come. Say my report.
Any other commissioners have reports this evening? Okay, seeing none. Any university committee report this evening? Yes, Commissioner Zimmerman.
JNI is meeting tomorrow. One of the first agenda items is the incident that occurred this weekend. So if you have anything you'd like me to bring up, please let me know.
Any other university committee report this evening? Oh, yes, Commissioner.
So the sustainability committee met last week. A lot of it is what Elaine talked about during the presentation last week. But basically all the hub coordinators gave an update, and then we went over some of the sustainability plan revision, and then overall some of their goals. One of their main goals is just to make it more known that we have a lot of sustainability initiatives on campus, and then also they're working to bring some 10x talks to campus.
Fantastic. Any other reports this evening? Seeing none, we'll move on. Okay, so I said it in the slide, okay, I can back up here. So our theme this week is favorite place we travel to. This is me in Oslo, Norway. Norway's one of my favorite places to travel, plus my aunt lives there, so I love being with her. So I am motioning, I'm not motioning, I have opening my report for discussion about the video this weekend. So does anyone have any comments, concerns, ideas, anything? I know we don't have any student representatives outside of student senate here or anything, but we can hear your input if you have anything. And so that's not right.
My proxy Jonathan's meeting has a few words to say. As a resident in the west side, there has been many talks about what many perceive as a rising crime rate in the west side. If you pursue through the Athens West Side Facebook group, many have said that there isn't enough police control on west side. However, as one commenter in the Facebook group wrote, it will only help to make white people feel safe. And his second point is, yes, individual police officers can be good people. However, we cannot ignore the historical and even recent ways that institutions such as the legal system have been systematically used to abuse and murder Black and brown people. Racism is more than just personally believing that Black people are bad. It also looks like 3 cops on top of a Black man stuffing his body to the ground. When there are always fights on Court Street and no one ever does that to one of the white boys fighting. That is all we have to say.
Any other points? I'm sorry. Yes.
I know that the student is a student other than that, we have how to the University of Cincinnati on campus and try to find a way of collaborating and recognizing that as college students, we don't just support students that are also want to represent that's not what OU stands for, especially on the
So I'll say something and then turn on to Jimmy. So I actually met with the Vice President of Student Affairs at University of Cincinnati yesterday. So I think it was a good conversation, and their focus was really more around the city police and not the university. Well, obviously we're talking about everything, but I think Olivia has something to say, but she's kind of.
Yeah, so last night I spoke on the phone with University of Cincinnati Student Senate President, and we kind of shared different information and kind of being there to support one another, our student governments, and talking about what we can do as students to, again, like be there for our students, whether it's Ohio University or University of Cincinnati, but outside of that, I'll be another further information. But they did release a statement, kind of joining with our statement. To that point. Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, really, it's Black Affairs has been talking a lot about like what we should do. And I feel like there's really good for today because there's still a lot of confusion. There's not a lot of clear evidence right now as to what exactly occurred. So we're uncomfortable with bringing a bill. But clearly police brutality is not okay. But we would just like some further information. Go ahead and write the bill.
As I feel that, obviously this is with the city government, so I should say something. Mayor Pyerson is one with Chief Kyle and the service safety director all had a press conference the other day that you can live stream on City Athens Facebook. So they are being progressive on this, and that was an emergency next day action that they took. And I feel that I support that idea to not push the bill through as they are going through the motions, as well as they're saying they have other video from surveillance from JBAR and things like that. Can't release right now because it's evidence. So I support that decision. I think that's really good to not jump to action when we may not have all the facts. Although it is important to take a stand like you two did with the statement, and also the statement from UC's student senate as well. I just think it's good to see that we are all standing up against the misinformation because some people have jumped to conclusions when we don't know facts.
Are there any other points? Yes.
I would say it's a little concerning to me that there's no students here to speak out.
And so I think student senate's role moving forward should probably be reaching out to students. Just because it is the one who's business students are sent out. And they should make us consider our role.
Yeah, there wasn't a lack of reach out. In fact, there was a lot of reach out to a lot of Black students. They're aware of the issue, and I have no idea why they're not here today. I don't know. It might be a whole situation of like they don't know enough information as well, or they don't have enough information. But I don't know. Yeah, there was reach out though.
I sent out an email to all the organizations this morning, so I think that's a good thing. Yes.
Mine for a question, just, I've heard rumors that, with a lot of home games this weekend, that there might be student athletes who choose to kneel during the anthem. And can I offer support from Student Senate that is okay? Because it is usually a controversy, if that's okay. Big question.
Does anyone have any discussion about that?
I mean, I would say wait for the meetings to happen, and then, like, if students aren't feeling, I would not be opposed to, I would not be ready to support of students, especially where there's freedom of expression, or, something like that, but I wouldn't necessarily think we should really put out a statement. You know, but I definitely think that, that's a good way for student athletes when they have that spotlight of the social media being it is quite great for students to feel that's a good way to express themselves to themselves.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Just another form of expression. If that's how they feel, and that's how they want to express themselves in the situation. I would have no problem. Post situation. Is there any opposition?
I know there's not a bill or anything to support that, but are there any other points?
Yeah, so just a point for people to think about, and I know there's been a couple of comments about folks coming to Student Senate to speak out, and I do know Isabel and others have reached out to folks, but I think folks in Senate need to decide whether they truly want to get feedback from the organizations whose majority of membership are marginalized students. And if that is true, you all should go to their meetings. If you really want to know and you want them to feel as comfortable as possible sharing with you their feelings, it probably will more likely happen in their actual spaces that they've created to have meetings and talk about issues. It would go a long way. It's what I suggest to some of my professional colleagues. If you all want to know what students feel, you actually have to go talk to students. You know, you can't use me as a proxy for the student opinion when we have thousands of them around. And I'm sure most people don't want to be representing their opinion anyway. Right, Olivia? So I would suggest that. I would suggest that, and we're talking probably less than 15 organizations that in their charters talk about representing marginal students, and we probably all know what those groups are. And we all can easily find out when their meetings are, and they're sanctioned and part by Student Senate and funded by them, as well as student affairs. So I think that would be a good move if you actually want to hear how they're feeling and what they're talking about. Go find out what's going on.
I hope everyone knows this yet, that most people do, but there is the discussion at the Athena Cinema Tuesday, October 8th from 7 to 9. I think the city here, JPAC is putting it on, so I know all of you that are listening to what people are saying. I hope there be representation of students Senate just to listen and hear the voices like Dr. Peter said.
It's tentative.
Are there any other points? Seeing none, we'll move on to the rest of my report. Okay. So, switching gears. So again, like last week on October 21st, from 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. in this room, we're having our town hall. So if you have student organizations you're a part of, please spread the word. you should have all gotten an email about we didn't have to go about this, and we're gonna start pushing out some PR next week. So please retweet, put on your Instagram story, say like, the student senate is so cool, you should go talk to them. You will have snacks, so there's free food, so there's no reason why you should not follow them. Second, so if you are a primary sponsor on a bill, you are the ones that are responsible to sending that bill to the people that you say that you're gonna send it to the bill. I've had a couple of people email me saying, hey, I know you passed this bill, but I haven't gotten it yet, so I had some out. Please, if you're a primary sponsor, and it's like goes to everyone, maybe we haven't communicated that well, so no worries, but in the future, make sure you are the ones who are emailing your people who you say on the bill. 3, next week, one of the best weeks of the year is homecoming. I know we're all super excited to see our old alumni friends coming back to campus. I know I am. But that also means board of trustees meetings next week. That's even more exciting, right? So, so board of trustees, this will be Thursday and Friday. I will be attending as many committee meetings as I can. I know a particular one that you may all be interested in is the Student Success and Achievement Committee, and I'll put that information in the Slack. If you are interested in attending the board of trustees meeting, you can find the agenda of this Google Ohio University Board of Trustees. You basically can attend anything except for the executive session and the lunch. Sorry, there's no free food with that. So if you have any questions or want to come hang out with me, please text me, DM me on Slack, and we can figure out a way that you can participate. It's a great way to get involved, see kind of how the process goes. So, and with that, that is end of my report. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is the best week that I ever traveled to. I went on a study abroad this summer, and we were in Edinburgh, Scotland, and me and 3 of my close friends, Allison being one of them, took a 12-hour round trip bus ride to the Highlands and back. It was beautiful and amazing, and saw the cute Highland Cow. Anyway, my first point was the meal swipes. To donate them, you have until Saturday. You can share up to 3 meals. I highly encourage everyone to do that. And then I threw some general education discussion hours in the Slack the other day. I'll send them out again the day before, but those start October 14th. It's really, really, really important for all of your feedback to be included in the new model that they're going to be putting for general education, and we won't get to hear what that model is until they already pitch it back to the Senate. So we're not going to get to hear it until it's already pitched. So it's really important that your feedback is already here. So that's that.
Okay, so I sent out the name tag form this week. If you filled it out, please see me after this so I can get you your name tag. And also, over the past week, I used my discretionary to purchase 100 blue books for $21.21. And yeah, I think that might be Monday, Tuesday, and they're already gone. And so that's really cool that we passed that bill to get that done. And so that will pushes me to my next point, which I would like to open up for discussion to the floor. How do you all feel about setting aside a discretionary for office supplies? Because what just happened was we had to wait a couple of days in order to get more blue books and Clorox wipes and so forth. Where if there was a discretionary and there was like a loss of something in the office, I could just go out and use a key card and buy it guys the next year. Does anyone feel? Is there any opposition to having a side discretionary for office supplies?
So I guess my little one here. So in the past, student senates feel like that for transparency, every single Clorox, tissue, not like anything that goes in office. So if you all feel like that, that's totally understandable, but just for the sake of efficiency and effectiveness, it's not like, and if Junior has to tell you all what he spends his discretionary on, or if this money is only allocated to office supplies, it's not like we're gonna buy anything crazy, just, Clorox, tissues, paper, legal pads, pens, all that.
So I just want to confirm the rules and procedures or whatever, like it says that with the discretionary that refrigerator is that rules and procedures or is that?
I think it's, if I remember correctly, it's if I do more than twice without telling the body, then I'm
Are there any questions, points about office supplies being allocated? Any comments? Cool, yeah.
So now,
What are you?
oh, my bad, I didn't have one picture. Alright, so that's in Tenerife. It's a Spanish Canary Island. I think that's the Santa Cruz beach. It's beautiful. It's very, like, it's all black sand. It's awesome. Yeah. So our Senate total was $57,900.13. Allocated not spent $5,561.24. Not allocated nor spent $52,338.89. Stack total $237,520.70. Spot $159,697.67. And you fund $77,823.30. These numbers are true and accurate to the best of my knowledge, and that's
This picture's kind of awkward now that I posted on my Instagram, not in the live. But so I love Washington DC. I'm going there tomorrow night. Super excited. So yay. So midterms are coming up. So a lot of students have been coming into the office, looking for blue books, we're out of them. I know it's kind of an awkward conversation. I'm really hoping that they get through Monday. So hopefully they should be here Monday. But when people are coming in, let's just make sure we're keeping conversations PG. We don't want to talk about bad stuff. Also too, like when students are leaving and getting their blue books, make sure that you're saying good luck on your exams because we want everyone to do well on that. And just make sure like we're keeping the office clean. It's been pretty good, so good job, guys. Please keep using Classify, office hours. Senate office is really fun. We're all really fun people, so do your office hours. Also, too, I'm going to say that our intern program is now up and running. We have so many interns. The first meeting was last Sunday, and then Celine is actually our new co-intern director with Danielle. So that's really, really exciting. Then there is an opening on JPAC. So if you're interested in being JPAC, please let me know by the end of the week, and I'll let you guys know. And also, too, help us paint the banner next week on Tuesday. I know Adam already said it, but we really need the help. I have no artistic ability, and we want this to look good. So that's the end of my report.
All right, so I've rarely ever traveled, period. Like I've been west of Ohio. So my favorite place that I've traveled to has been Clinton Bay. It was super expensive, but it was completely worth it. And then on the right is a picture of my buddies. So I just have a couple things. First thing is that the website is updated. Yeah, everyone's on there. But I have to say, please make sure that you go on there, make sure that your name is spelled correctly, that you are in the correct position, that you are in the Senate, and also that your email is correct. If it's not, please let me know and I'll fix it immediately. Okay? Another thing, headshots. I don't know if you guys all saw the Slack message that I put out. But I did put out a message in Slack as the link to sign up to sign the shot thing. Yeah, it's Google Sheets. You can sign up for a time. One thing I do have to say though is that if you're signing up, please try to sign up when everyone else is signed up, like go in groups, because my friend Kyle is taking a lot of time out of his day from Tuesday to Thursday from 3 to like 8 o'clock. Which is a long time to be there, so it'd be beneficial to both us and him if we all go in like small groups or just groups in general, so we can take pictures. Another thing, as mentioned previously, this month's pretty busy with all the events with homecoming and the Aurora Bay and things like that. So PR is going to be pushing out a lot of things on Twitter, and Instagram, and Facebook, and stuff like that. So look out for those. Please like it, retweet us, make me happy. Other than that, that is the end of my report. You guys have a great rest of your week. Thank you.
So this is a picture of what my mom took me and my two sisters on a vacation. One on her kids, one on us basically. My report was we have 2 associate justice positions open as well as the assistant report, and we would also appreciate for everyone to have this best students as well.
I will say, please. Oh, a couple summers ago, I did a national park tour out west. We did Yellowstone, Glacier. Homecoming is, everyone said, is coming up. A couple of people have emailed us asking where they are supposed to be at for the break. We are started slotting yesterday. We'll finish on tomorrow. So after probably next week, we have about 130 entrants. Good parade.
I would say one of my favorite vacations is going to Maine, the Canadian National Park. I also want to reiterate that this is the week for sharing your meal plans and donating meal swipes. And as of this morning, we only had 50, and we need about 3,000 to get us through the semester. So really, if you need people to donate, so don't be like, oh, I forgot. You've got the space, and you have the meals. We would really love for you to stop by and let us know next month donate. And don't forget that it's reading day on Friday, which you're not supposed to go to class. But you are supposed to read. That's the important.
You were informed about how you were in college. I need to find out. Are you in college?
Never.
Shots.
And I did read it.
Yeah. Favorite place to vacation, Hawaii, and I wanted to talk about the rest of the weekend, so that's
great. Yeah, I traveled with me and my executive team, Parks and Justice, is like recently advocated. I've got 2 years old, so I'm left with my treasurer. I was my so he's good.
Club?
No, that's him.
That's national
Yeah. Okay.
No, you don't.
Anyway, so my report, I just want to remind you guys that the Pueblo, Ohio deadline is October 11th. I put that in the Slack. Think about a week and a half ago or so. If you have any questions about it, and you want me to give it like the COVID report submitted to Houston, please come see me whenever you guys meet in the office. Additionally, Bobcat Leadership challenge. Thank you, Bobcat Leadership Challenge. I sent out the interest form yesterday. That's just to see if you guys are interested. So that again is like that will be happening on April 18th. We need 6 students to form a team before that, and we'd be just doing like 10 weeks of kind of learning and key competencies that we see us across the year. And then you guys can keep with other teams from that day, and you have challenges like how many teams. The prize for that is a plaque, and then you guys also get to share a meal with these two lovely people. We went to last year. Yeah, so yeah, and Jane actually was the one who won last year. We're gonna have this experience.
Oh. I'm just gonna give us a shout out. I love this program. I thought it was so fun. It was one of my favorite things I've done at OU. I really, really encourage you guys to form a team for this. It is a time commitment. It's 1 hour a week for 10 weeks, but I promise you, you'll get to know members of Senate better. I got to know a ton of people in campus rec, and then also too, it's something that you can put on your resume. So if you like resume.
Yeah, if you're interested in that, please fill out that form. It's gonna close on Wednesday. I want to get back to this. It's a see if you want to be a part of the team. That is okay, and do I hear a motion? Motion. Okay. All those in favor of adjournment, please raise your hand. All those opposed? Abstentions? Meeting is adjourned.